Hello? Does this thing work? This is the Peak Boredom Podcast.
Okay, my one. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay lah, whatever.
Whatever.
I-
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Peak Boredom Podcast.
Woo!
Yes, that's the name. Yes, we've reached that point yet again. Today we have here with us our good friend Lauren.
Yes, our first guest. Thanks you for coming. She actually works with us too.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
she's
sound
the
design.
one. Yeah, she's gonna be the one designing our jingle as well as like some of the background music that you're gonna hear.
Yes, so if you like the jingle, please hire Lauren.
Ooh.
$50 per hour.
Hi guys.
I'm Lauren and I study music in Hong Kong, and here's proof of my existence.
I'm currently in. I think when you guys watch
This podcast, I'm out of quarantine already. So I'm in daytime quarantine without sunlight, without human contact, and I'm still sane.
Are we not humans? Well, I'm an alien. Yeah, it makes
without
sense.
direction.
Yeah, disclaimer, Lauren recently went back to Hong Kong from Jakarta, and so she has to be quarantined in the government facility.
Yeah.
Oh, in my apartment.
Or your apartment.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Sorry.
If I'm quarantined in the government facility,
That means I have.
coronavirus.
Good correction, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the first and most important question, were you always interested in music?
Do you want to know from the beginning of time or from?
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what? Sure.
sure.
Okay, sure.
Like, what sparked your interest to music? Because I know music is like such a, oh, do it. But then in the Asian culture is like, why are you doing it after like, a few years?
I started learning the piano when since I was like 5 years old. So how many years is that already? I'm like 20 now, so 15 years. But I started becoming like really interested in music, like actually wanting to be a performing pianist, like a professional solo pianist. When I was in the 4th grade, it's because I changed teachers. To she's actually my aunt, but she's like this really good piano teacher, and she changed my view for music and everything. So like I really became interested in music since the 4th grade. And then my parents, luckily, they're not the stereotypical Asians who like you have to be a lawyer. No. They're very supportive with music. And my mom, she's like my number one supporter, and I love her so much. So mom, when you're watching this, I just want to say I love you. Thank you for supporting me.
Don't cry.
Okay, we're not that
And-
famous.
So all my mom said when I told her, Mom, I want to be a pianist when I was in 4th grade. Yeah, I told her that, and all she said is, do it, and if you want something, do it with your whole heart. So a lot of people say, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I say, I want to be a classical pianist. I want to be a performer like Lang Lang, who's a very popular pianist.
Very accomplished, yeah.
Then they would just say, oh my gosh, that's like so boring. What are you doing with your life? You're not gonna make any money. You're just gonna be a teacher. You're gonna end up homeless. Yeah, well, they didn't say that. You get the point. You're gonna fail, basically.
Do people's perception of you then change because they hear that you're a music student?
Yes. I mean when they adulted. So their perception.
They adulted.
They adulted.
Are you sure they're adults? But okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So back then, I had a lot of stuff that you tell that to a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, you're gonna fail as a musician. Of course, like I feel really insecure, and so I'm like, I'm gonna be a pharmaceutical engineer. I'm gonna work in Calbe, and then like because I like chemistry back. I like chemistry back then, and so I thought I'll give it a shot. But I still pursue music. Like I still play it like competitively. I go to competitions. And yeah, I still like do all those crazy stuff and practice like non-stop. And then when I went to SPH for high school, I took chemistry, like grade like grade 10, I mean, you have to take science. Then grade 11, I took chemistry, right? Actually, starting from grade 10, when I took science, that's already a clear sign to me. No, you're like, it's like God telling me, like, no, you're not supposed to be a scientist. You suck. Stop what you're doing. And like, I suck at science. I think I only got a 5 or 4 even out of 7. I'm just bad at science. I'm horrible at science. So like, I stopped pursuing that. I just like, I can't pursue that. I feel like music is the way to go. And like, other than music, actually, my interest, my passion too is film. So
Phil.
so like, actually, when I was dreaming to be a classical performer, I wanted to be a classical performer in Hollywood. Like, I mean, like, for performing for, Hollywood movies, they have like, they hire professional musicians to perform for their scores. So yeah, that's like a childhood dream, to go to Hollywood and to go not just Hollywood, like the film industry in general, because I really love movies. Like, I love Disney in particular. I memorized every single Disney song, every single Disney princess. I love them. I've been watching Disney since I still remember. My first movie ever is Finding Nemo. Yeah, Disney Pixar. So I love this. And Finding Nemo, because they have sharks.
Okay.
I am
What?
scared of sharks until today. I'm scared of sharks. Like, the sharks are scary. And then after Finding Nemo 2, I watched Jaws. Can you imagine?
Okay, yeah,
You're
that
letting
makes
a
sense.
kid
Yeah.
watch Jaws.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So until today, I'm still scared of sharks.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to go to the ocean too. I'm scared of the ocean.
Well, good thing is you don't have to.
Great.
Yeah.
So, what exactly? Can you tell us what music school is like? Like, what is the structure of like a music course exactly? Like, contact hours, private teaching.
Because I think nobody really knows how music will work. They just see it like in the movies. You know the yeah.
Oh, Whiplash.
Yo, did you see Whiplash? You're like, oh, okay, that's music school. But like, what is it really like?
First day, I want to say, I think a lot of people has a lot of misconception about music school. Whiplash is actually, that's the extreme,
Yeah.
like very extreme. That's like the high end. I would say high end conservators who focuses on performance and who have killer teachers who will like just beat you up if you don't practice, beat you up if you don't get the notes right, or if you don't get the expression right. And
Yeah.
but other than that, music school in general, you have theory and you have practical. And for some universities, you have the common core. So like, you learn about philosophy or anything. Like, I had to learn philosophy and the values and meaning of life for 1 semester, and
You must have an existential crisis.
it's weird. They call it the value and meaning of life, but we talked about like globalization, economical globalization. But then the title is value and meaning of
Call it capitalism.
yeah.
Anyway.
So for me, because I take composition composition concentration, let's see, my week usually is filled with me creating music all the freaking time. I'm a nerd. Like, every composer is considered to be a nerd because all you do is sit in front of the computer figuring out notes, figuring out for example, if you're recording something, and then especially if God forbid the technical thing doesn't work and you have to sit there for hours figuring out, why is there no sound coming to the computer, or why is no sound generating out of the computer. So like, I do those technical stuff. I do a lot of sound recording, and then I take film as my minor, right? So I work with animators, like student animator, and like take sound design classes, make Poly. So for me, the practical stuff is that it's not exactly practicing. Actually, I don't really. Yeah, because I mean, back then when I was pursuing a career in piano performance, actually that too, I'm not practicing. I practice my ass off, but like I don't practice like 3 hours straight. It's like 1 hour,
Yeah.
then like 2 hour break, then 1 hour, then another hour of practice. But it's a lot. So I'm the type of person I can't sit still in whatever situation. So if you see me in the practice room, maybe if I say, oh, I'm in the practice room for 5 hours, that means I'm probably actually touching the piano to practice for 2 hours, and the other 3 hours I'm either messing with the strings, like because you can play the piano strings. I'm either messing with the strings, messing with the I don't know, like you can use the piano as a percussion. You can hit it and you use it as a percussion instrument, and or if my friend comes and he or she just decides to chat with me in the practice room. Yeah, that's probably the other hour. So 2 hours practice, 2 hours of kinda practice, because I still put like 15-minute breaks, and all 2 hours of messing with the piano and destroying it, and maybe another hour chatting with my friend and doing nothing. And then the contact hours theory, like composition, you do learn a lot of theory, and I think a lot of people misunderstand this, because even musicians too, they tend to say, oh, why are you learning theory? Like, aren't you supposed to create what you want? Why do you have to learn music theory? And for me, it's just like, music theory for me, it's you learn something, but that doesn't mean that's the rule. You have to follow everything. And when I make music,
is it more like the case of in order to be free within the boundaries, you have to know what the boundaries are, and like once you know those boundaries, and that boundary being like music theory, then you can just freely express whatever.
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
Ooh. Translating
Yeah, you're right.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, like actually, that's true. So like by learning music theory, like you know what the geniuses back then did, and then you can break the rule. Like for example, Mozart, like tonal harmony, like the rules of chords and everything in Mozart's time. At that time, they didn't have that rules, but because theorists analyze those things, so they know that those rules actually exist unconsciously, but Mozart didn't know that, right? And then the people in the Romantic era, like Tchaikovsky, Chopin, like that, they know that those rules, they learn it, like Beethoven. That's why Beethoven actually innovated and moved the music history, because he knew those rules, and then he decides to break them. He decides to like, screw this, I'm gonna make my own thing. I'm going to destroy the rules, and it sounded amazing. So yeah, by learning music theory, it's not, you don't look at it as these are rules I have to follow, but you look at it as like Hans Zimmer will say, if you see a rule, if you know a rule, then break it. That's the only way you move forward. And I hold that quote
Very tightly.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
So like
interesting.
speaking of really big composers, have you ever been to a master class?
I have been to a masterclass. I actually have been to a piano festival, like
Wait,
once. Like
explain what a master class is, though, for people who know
okay.
music. Well, I do know, but
Okay.
as small as you can.
Master class is basically, it's like a 1-to-1 with a great master. Like
Literally.
master of the art. Yeah. So if you're a pianist, you're with one of the masters of piano, and you just learn one-on-one, heart to heart, I don't know, with that master. Yeah, that's a master class. I've never been invited to a master class.
Oh, do you have
Okay,
to?
no, I have been.
You have to be invited to one?
In my school, yes. It's usually for performing students, or students who perform exceptionally well, because the quota is limited. Like there's more than 500 pianists in my school. Like So like if there's one master class for piano, they can't teach everyone. And like some of them might not even be interested. Like me, I'm just interested to watch sometimes. I don't really want to
Be
have
criticized.
hands-on.
Yeah.
No, it's not about the criticism. It's more like I'm just lazy. But I do. I cannot. I am a bit ashamed to say this, but I am quite lazy in my piano practice since I went to composition major. Like I love the piano, just
Mhm.
not in the practice way. Yeah.
Yeah, feel
But
the same
yeah.
way.
Yeah, master classes, I watch them a lot. I've been to one. If you want to be in a master class, either you pay to a
Wow.
piano festival. So yeah, I registered for a piano festival in Singapore last year. So
Mhm.
I went there. It was kind of effective, kind of not. I mean, it did improve my repertoire, but yeah, in a master class, yeah, they just teach you. They teach you how to play it better. They teach you your interpretation. Like you don't have to follow it, but it gives more opinions. Like just asking for a more professional opinion. But I usually just watch master classes more. I think they're more fun to learn how other people interpret a certain piece and how other people execute it.
Yeah, I understand that. I remember watching a video. It was a 2-set violin video where they talked for like, what was it, 1 or 2 hours with Hilary Hahn. And the way she explained how to properly practice and how to gain your version of interpretation, that's so interesting. And that's through experience and stuff that she learned from other people as well. So like, I understand listening more so than being in the moment.
Yeah. Like, I think 2-set violin they're really hilarious. By the way, guys, if you don't know 2-set violin, check them out. They're so cool.
They're
Seriously.
pretty cool, yeah.
2-set promo.
Notice
Oh my god.
They're pretty cool though, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really innovative in their way because people tend to think that classical music is boring, but 2-set violin just like no, it's not, and they change it in a way where it's interesting to even non-musical people. Yeah, 2-set.
Stop. This is not.
They're
2-set plug.
they're already famous. We need the attraction.
Great. So this is another important topic, I guess. Like back when you told us that you moved from basically the performing direction into the composing direction. Back when you were in the performing direction, however, like the performing stream, do you have any instances where you've like overworked yourself? You know?
Oh yeah,
Like
a lot.
whiplash style.
Because I get tired.
Oh.
I know I get tired during practices, and I'm not even a professional. Just maybe 2 hours of practice, and like your joints feel the pain at all times.
Yeah, the 2 years
Yeah,
I did piano because I'm Asian. It is quite tiring to like keep doing it.
It is very tiring. If you check out a lot of professional, you can see like, okay, maybe we're not as toned up or as bulk as weightlifters, but we are kind of we're kind of bulky here and here. Over practicing can hurt you if you don't know, but it will only hurt you if you don't know the proper technique. Case me. I challenged myself too much. I overestimated myself. There is such thing as overestimating yourself. I overestimated myself last year when I was in year 1. I thought, oh my god, I'm in university. I should be playing real pieces, man. Hardcore pieces that kills me. And I decided to pick, if you're a musician, you know who this crazy composer is. I decided to pick Franz Liszt, Transcendental Etudes, the Wild Jag. Okay, that's like... Okay, I have never played Liszt my whole life. And then this one time, my crazy mind decided I'm gonna play Liszt for my examination. I wanna show off to people like how cool I am, which I completely failed. I mean, I didn't fail the test, but I didn't get good either. So like I overworked myself. I overestimated my technique like crazy. Because
List
if
is
you're a musician,
basically list basically makes
List
you
is-
do gymnastics with your fingers.
this, yeah, exactly.
So
It's like
painful.
your hand can fit 8 octaves, and it's like, no, I want you to reach 13 notes, and I don't care
If you have
how.
small hands, like
I have small
I
hands.
think we have
And you have
like
to jump.
similar.
Yeah, and you have to jump like that. And I feel, I wish pianists have, like, I wish for pianists we can train our eyes to like look like
The opposite direction.
It has to be a horse.
They can see like the keys, because okay, especially if you're playing like Rachmaninoff. I've never played Rachmaninoff, but if you play stuff with octaves or like stuff where your right hand is like far end at the very top, and then like your left hand is far end below. I mean, you're a pianist.
Yeah. So I remember back in grade 9 and 10. I was put in basically you need to kind of audition to get into piano for some reason in our school. And when I played for one of the teachers, he said, "Oh no, you're too advanced. We're putting you in the advanced piano class." And there was only one other person in that advanced piano class. And after listening to us, our teacher basically trained us in classical pieces. I was trained in Chopin because apparently I'm very good with my chords and stuff. But my piano duet partner at the time, and also classmate, he was a violinist originally.
Oh.
So he's got, I guess, lengthier fingers, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he was always placed with Rachmaninoff, like the really powerful Russian stuff. At the end of the day, like, we can't swap because they're very different styles. We tried. It did not work out so well. But yeah, it definitely hurts your hands. Like, you might not think it's hard, stretching one octave and playing it again and again and again, but it really hurts.
Yeah, a lot of people think that this movement does not hurt. You
No.
try doing that for a long time. It
This part hurts.
will
Your
end up
whole
like,
yeah.
I
Because
did.
people think
there's
like,
a
oh,
certain
piano.
technique.
Yeah, they say like, oh, piano. It's just in the fingers. No, it hurts here.
No, it's
It hurts.
like, there's like a physician that visited my university that time, and I decided to go there because I tend to injure myself a lot. All right, I joined his seminar because of the list incident. All right, so basically in the list incident, I over practiced, and I was supposed to, I think it was a chord with 4 notes, but I was supposed to spread my hand in such a way. And then, oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you look from the side, my pinky can't straighten.
Yikes.
I can't straighten my pinky. So like that's another problem. And like it's just so difficult for me. And I have relatively tiny hands, like an octave. It's like
You're stretching? You're still stretching?
yes, it's quite hard for me. Like it's difficult. So like you imagine this tiny hand playing a 4-note chord that has to stretch like crazy the whole time. I ended up with tendonitis in my, I forgot which finger. I think it's this one. And then I had to go acupuncture.
Yeah, I remember that summer. I think you came back that summer and you said like, yeah, I practiced so hard that I required acupuncture every week. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It was really, and I can't play the piano. And like over practicing cost me practice time.
Yeah.
Like I can't play the piano for I think a week because I hurt my finger really badly. And even after a week, I had to tone down. So I didn't play my list at all for a month. So you can imagine how much I screwed my exam. Then I decided to go to the physician seminar thing, right? Then he was explaining how important posture is for pianists. So that's why I started working out like since quarantine. It's not because I want to change my body in a certain way, but I just want to get stronger. Because actually exercise is really important for musicians, whether it's cardio or stretching, I don't know, anything like Pilates. It's important for you to have your stamina because especially if you're a performer, you're going to perform for
Piece
like
on
2
piece on
hours.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you require strength, man. Like you need that stamina. The that's why sometimes if you go to concerts, appreciate the performer. Like sometimes they sweat. They sweat like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen performers with sweat dripping. So sometimes that's why they have this napkin to wipe themselves, like, and everything. It's because of the sweat dripping. Yeah. So like the physician's guy, he was saying like, you need to watch your spine. You need to stretch a lot, and then you need
Oh
to
yeah, I get that.
then you need to know that your power doesn't come from here. It comes from your back here,
Oh whoops.
which transfers up and then goes here and goes
Oh,
here like that. So you need to generate power from the back. That's why sometimes you can see pianists jumping like that, right? It's because they're generating power from here.
Oh,
From-
that makes sense.
that
I
makes
remember.
sense. Like that.
I
It's not.
definitely
It's not.
had posture problems. Yeah, at one point, because of the way I play piano, I guess I don't have much strength in my fingers. And my teacher told me, "Oh, it's because you're sitting wrongly. It's because I guess like when you play piano, you just sit wherever the stool is, but you don't realize like as a pianist you have to adjust the stool to
Yeah.
I guess your height because I'm quite tall, right? So I have to sit further away from the actual piano.
You're super tall.
Yeah, so my
Really,
teacher is
really
like, "No,
tall.
you're too close to the piano," and starts shoving the stool like further away, and I'm like, "Oh my god," stretching further away from the piano. But then because of that, I guess like my posture changed and the strength changed. But now that you mentioned that it doesn't come from here, oh well, I guess my posture's still bad.
Yeah, there's like a certain rule actually, like a rule that helps you. I mean, it differs from body to body, but the general rule is you sit halfway of the stool. You don't sit like full.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then you need to be able to your arm, I think your elbow should not go down like from the side. It should not be like that. It should be perpendicular like that. So there's a rule, and then like because it helps. Like if you're too close from the piano and you look like this, it's not perpendicular, you're gonna hurt yourself. If you're too far, and if you're too close, it looks like this, you're also gonna hurt yourself. Like there's no movement, so you're going to strain, and when you strain here, I'm telling you, it's the worst feeling ever. Like
Yeah.
straining muscles, especially in the forearm. And a lot of pianists, they strain their forearm, so they use a lot of power here inside of their back. It hurts. So you need to keep practicing your back actually. Like how do you generate power from here? And I just knew that from the physician because I thought this I know that you can't use this power like the forearm. I know that you have to move your wrist and everything like that. But I didn't know that you have to generate it from the back. And I didn't know why pianists do this like a lot. So it's actually the power, not dramatic movements.
Okay. I didn't know either.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of performance is more complicated than people think it is. They just think that I think most people think, oh, you sit down, you learn a piece. It doesn't matter how good you are, and you just play. It's like, no, it's a bit more complex than that.
Yeah, I guess because like
Yeah.
I have a cousin who actually does music school for a long time, but our family just like, oh, play whatever music. It kind of distorts me. But she's like,
Oh, my mom definitely does that.
Yeah,
My
right?
mom does. Yeah, just oh, can you play this song? And I'm like, no.
it feels
no,
like
I
they just
can't.
put you.
It's like
Yeah,
specific.
it feels like they just put you piano so they can play karaoke songs.
Oh, that never happened.
Really? It's just because like,
Well,
yeah.
in my case, it was because growing up, I wanted to be a doctor. Stereotypical.
Ooh.
But like my cousins are doctors, right? And they said that hand finger coordination is very important.
Yeah.
If you want to be a scientist, the same thing goes as well. So they wanted me to learn how to control like the finger-eye coordination better. So they put me into piano, and I guess it kind of worked. I have better control over my movements than my sisters do. Throwing them under the bus right now, but it does help to a certain extent. But it is true, I do get used as like a living shuffle. I guess my parents are like, oh, play this song. Oh, can you play this song? No,
Yeah.
no, I can't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people underestimate classical performers. Especially Like my friend, she's a violinist. She's my closest friend in university. She practices like crazy, and the amount of stress, like if you watch Whiplash, even if it's not a classical musician, like you just watch anyone who's really committed to the classical era period, like that,
Yeah.
like ballet, like Black Swan, you can really feel their psychological problem. I'm not saying my friend has psychological problem, but I mean the stress, the amount of stress, yeah. The amount of stress that they go through, it's unthinkable. Like they have to finish pieces. Like she has to play, I think last semester she has to play like 15 pieces for that semester, and like it has to be like really good, because especially violinists, you have orchestra, like you have solo, and she's a solo performer, and she's really good. So she has a lot of things to do, and then she has to take care of her health, she has to take care of her body. So I think, yeah. And then like the stress, other than physical stress, like fatigue, you have to take care of your mental health. So usually performers, how my friend prepared for her examination, she didn't see anyone the day before, like at all. She isolated herself because it helps to calm the mind. And I don't think she practiced, because the more you practice, the more stressed you become, actually. I mean the day before the performance, or right hours before the performance. Usually she just goes through the difficult passages, but she doesn't, I don't think she runs through. It will make her stress. But yeah, you get mental fatigue. Even though your piece may be a slow piece, it's tiring because you have to think about it by detail. It's not about notes. It's not just note playing. It's the why the composer created this way. What is he feeling? How can I make this different? How can I make people cry or make people laugh?
I'm gonna make them
from
cry.
playing this. So like all of those factors, and emotionally. So like you have to be emotionally stable. You have to be mentally like stable, and you have to be physically. I think that's the stress that performers go through, and composers like us, we just have fun, destroy your instruments, and create music.
Not so much. As a musician, I'm pretty sure you've heard of what they call the 10th Symphony curse.
What do you mean?
What's that?
I've never heard of the 10th Symphony curse.
Uh-oh.
There's a curse in, well, I heard it mentioned once that in the classical music world, not a lot of composers actually reach their 10th symphony, because most of them die before then, and so a lot of them will compose symphonies but not call it a symphony, just to avoid that number from creeping closer to 10. But once you pass 10, then I think you're fine. But the number of people who actually pass 10 symphonies is like very low.
I hope I don't.
Don't scare her, man.
I won't compose
It's a
symphonies
thing.
then.
I know it's a thing.
It all started, they say this never happened before Beethoven, but once Beethoven did it, then suddenly people start dying before the symphony.
Beethoven ended in Symphony 9.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All to joy. I
think the only person who managed to pass 10 was, is it Mahler?
Mahler created a lot of symphonies. Wait, let me see. Symphony 10. Let's just see.
Meanwhile, Mars, who is Mahler?
Shostakovich.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Who's that?
He's a Russian composer. Shostakovich.
There.
Yeah, that's it.
I think even Schubert had an unfinished one, and that unfinished was to be the 10.
Yeah, the unfinished symphony. Yeah.
Just skip 10. Just write. just make it 11.
Yeah. Can anyone break the curse?
You know, like
Symphony 11.
You know, like Asian elevators, like 1, 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
1, 2,
5.
5. That's not
I've
cheating.
seen ones that, 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 5.
And then you're like, what level am I in actually? I don't even know anymore.
You should go like Symphony 9, Symphony 11. Yeah. I've never heard of that curse, but yeah, it's actually true. Actually, a lot of composers back then, die very young. Like Mozart died at the age of 30 something. Mendelssohn too.
Mozart was overworked though, right?
He was poor too.
Yeah.
I think he was poor.
He's also pretty
I
short.
heard-
Fun fact.
Yeah.
I heard it was because at the time Christian music was very like it was the thing. In order to be sponsored, in order to be like to have patrons, you have to compose like masses like Bach and Handel and stuff like that. But Mozart, I think, avoided the more Christian styled music
Yeah.
until he wrote Requiem, I guess.
Yeah, Mozart is not very, Mendelssohn is very Christian. Mendelssohn wrote quite a
Yeah,
lot of
Mozart
Christian
tried to
stuff.
like no.
Mozart is like,
Also, I heard he's quite arrogant.
Oh, he's very
So-
arrogant.
yeah, oh my gosh, he's so.
Which is funny because
So I
he's
guess
like
not a lot of
I think it's because he's like super short. So he's like anyway.
he's a genius. He created Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when he was like,
and ABC. It's the same song.
ABC.
I think when he was 5. At 5, I just started.
Yeah. Chopsticks.
Oh, this is dope. That's me at 5, and Mozart's just like, I created something that the whole world will remember for centuries.
Well, he didn't know
Yeah.
that.
He's
He kind of acted
sees
as
the-
though he's so arrogant. I think.
He
Like
is,
I
he
remember,
is.
a lot of people said Salieri. He worked his butt off composing such good music, and Mozart's like, what? Like it's hard.
yeah. Mozart. It's for Mozart. It's he has a dream of like it can be like he just had a dream of a symphony, and then the next day he composed the whole
He
thing.
was kind of a prodigy though. That was his thing.
Yeah, he is.
But for
Yeah, he
the,
is. He is.
the other guy, whatever his name was again,
Salieri.
yeah, that guy. He like, I want to be better, which is it's like the whole Aaron Burr and okay, no, I'm not gonna go to
Hamilton.
yeah
stuff.
Hamilton because it's like someone's good at it, but someone's like talented at
A
it.
natural.
Yeah, natural. But
But
then,
talent can only get you so far.
yeah, for
right?
sure,
Like,
talent.
there's talent, and then you have to
Except
move
for
on to
Mozart.
hard work. No,
Mozart.
He
No,
did,
it doesn't work
so-
on Mozart.
I mean, Mozart died because he was like super stressed
Yeah.
too, right? Because you're
yeah, but
talented.
like a good example of that is
Yeah.
back to Hilary Hahn. Like she was considered a child prodigy, yeah, but she just continued to work on it. She didn't just play, and then after she grew
Mm.
up, she's like, oh, I give up. She worked hard, and like she had her own style, and then that's how she succeeded, I guess.
yeah.
She's so cool.
For a long, he was a child prodigy. Okay, no, he's not. It's not was. He is a child prodigy, a genius in piano. I mean, for him, it's just like he can do it, but he works hard for it. He actually, he said 10% of your success is from your talent, but 90% is from your hard work. And I agree.
Oh yeah.
Like no matter how talented you are, you still need hard work. Like this from hard work, like I'm a firm believer that you don't just work smart, you work hard too, because work smart and hard actually. But I'm not the type of person, like a lot of people say, especially another misconception of musician, oh, you just wait for your luck.
Ah,
Okay, a lot of people perceive it like that. It's either you're lucky, then you become someone, you become a popular musician, or you suck, or you're not lucky, and you just end up as a teacher or what like that, or you don't end up being a musician at all. And for me, it's like you don't just wait for luck. You need to work hard for it. Like for example, I think a very very good example would be Ed Sheeran. He is lucky, okay. Like for a producer to actually look at him, he is lucky. There's that aspect of luck, but I think he is also hardworking because it takes a lot, okay, for someone to take their guitar out to the streets, to gigs, and then play every single day. That's hard work. I think if he didn't do that, maybe he won't ever meet a producer. That's like a possibility. So I think, yeah, hard work plays a lot in your life, I guess. Like it's not just luck. You don't just wait for luck, because I believe that through hard work you can get.
Yeah, I think another example would be Charlie Puth. If you actually listen to an interview, he actually had a recording of him when he couldn't sing. That's so funny.
what?
He actually learned. He
I haven't
learned
heard of
how
that.
to sing and like do all the pitches because now he's like pitch perfect. And
He's like so good.
yeah, but
I
then
love his
he's
singing.
actually like,
Perfect pitch.
sorry.
Pitch perfect and perfect pitch are two
I'm
different.
sorry. But like he really revealed in the interview, he was like, no, I wasn't good at music all the time. Actually, I recorded myself singing once, and it sounded horrible. It's because I learned and practiced, and then
Yeah.
luck is in the mixture, but like that part of your life is also important, and that goes to like any profession, I feel.
Yeah, it's not just music, but I think luck is mostly tied like with music because musicians are sometimes not looked at real professions unless you're like a super successful musician, like an artist or something. But like actually, I don't know, like success is defined differently, I guess.
Yeah.
People.
Because we've talked about quite a lot of composers and musicians and stuff like that. Who are some people that you look up to in the industry, and why? Of course.
Yeah, or like, what's your favorite advice? I guess
the first composer I look up to is Chopin. That's the first, like the very first. Then after looking at his life for a while, never mind. He's a depressed, so depressed. He like, I mean, his music is nice. I mean, I like anything in minor key. I guess that's why I was inspired by him. But he's like so depressed, man. I read about his biography. He's the saddest human being I've ever read about. He's so sad. Like, read his biography and just tell me.
Oh, that happens.
Like,
yeah, I've read someone's biography before. I'm like, how is this not fiction? This is so depressing.
Yeah, it's so depressing. I think one of his biographies wrote that he doesn't eat fats. You know how in the food group fats are
quite generally everywhere.
One way or another important for you, right? So he avoids anything with fats. That's why he's always sick and he always cancels performance and everything. And he just gets sad, like a lot. So I think, oh my gosh, you're so depressing. Okay, never mind. But he was my inspiration for quite a while because I'm inspired by his piano music. I think they're really touching, even though he's a depressed person. They're really touching music. Like, if you watch the movie The Pianist, it's I think it's Chopin's Nocturne in...
I played one of his nocturnes.
It
stresses me out.
Yeah. So in The Pianist, he played... Why I suddenly forgot the actor's name. Yeah, but... And I forgot the actual pianist name. It's we something. Yeah, he played that in front of the German officer and he got free. And like, I think it touched the German officers' heart, and so I really like how Chopin's music touched my heart in a lot of different ways back then. now because I'm more to the composition stream, and I'm also more open-minded to a lot of other composers. For classical, like Western art music composers who I'm inspired as Beethoven. I'm really inspired by Beethoven. I think his innovations and the way he breaks rules and breaks every single rule that he knows, from not deaf to being deaf, and how he can compose when he's deaf. It's inspiring, man. How do you compose without hearing? Like, you can compose when you're blind but not hearing, and I think that's like inspiring, like how he doesn't stop. And I think Tchaikovsky. I really like Tchaikovsky's. He failed a lot, and actually Swan Lake was a big failure when he lived.
Oh yeah,
It's only after his death.
That's true.
After his death, then it's like that. And like, he still doesn't give up, man. After that, like, he got a lot of rejections. And I think I heard this quote from somewhere, but I'm pretty sure it's Tchaikovsky who said it. He said when he was rejected, all he said is, because his music teacher said, you have a lot to fix and you suck, like that. And all he said is, what is already great cannot be fixed. That's all he said. The confidence level so high, and like, yeah, he is a very confident person. I think, like, yeah, and he's also gay, right? So he has a lot of emotional and mental attack, technically, especially in back then when you're gay.
Mm.
You know the treatment you get, and then he's a composer. He's not well liked. Like he's not well liked. Like I don't know. I think Mendelssohn is more well liked as a composer, or Bach or Handel, but Tchaikovsky is just for people back then, because I think he progressed so much into the future, and I like his spirit of not giving up, and he creates many of the most iconic pieces of music that still stands until today. And like when I sing the melody or anyone sings the melody, you will know, oh my god, please.
Oh yeah, the
Even though you don't know
1812. Yeah, the 1812 overture,
Yeah.
right? You hear it
Yeah,
and
the
you're like,
1812.
wow, what madman put cannons inside it?
Yeah,
Inside an
canon.
overture.
Oh, that one.
It's because he said like, well, they said I can use any instruments I want. I'm gonna use cannons.
Boom.
So
Hey,
Cannons
whatever
and-
makes you
yeah,
special.
exactly. I think just Beethoven and Tchaikovsky. I would say they really inspired me. But my favorite, one of the composers that I really like, starting to like, I used to hate him so much. It's Debussy. I used to hate Debussy so much. I hated when my teacher constantly gave me Debussy to play,
Oh, that's me and Chopin.
because oh no, me it's Debussy and Bach. I hate them, but now I really love them. I'm not exactly inspired by them, but I love them because they're interesting, and I think Bach is satisfying to play, while Debussy, I just love him because of his use of non-tonal, tonal but not really harmony, his innovations, and the fact that he made Indonesian music popular. He is the
Oh,
first
yeah.
composer
Really?
who made Indonesian music popular.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
that time in
So we were told, because we know the same music history. So essentially, during that time, I think it was during the colonial era, they had performers from Indonesia come to Paris, and they were performing on the streets.
Mm.
And well, everyone kind of saw them as like, oh yeah, this colony members, they're just playing on the streets and stuff like that. But then it caught the attention of two really big composers, and one of them was Debussy, and it was stuff like gamelans and stuff like that. So if you listen carefully to some of like Debussy's music, you can hear that pentatonic, non-tonal kind of inspiration.
you can hear a lot of the very gamelan-like texture, like the dum dum dum. I mean, like, you don't hear the gamelan. I mean, like, you hear the texture, the movement.
Okay.
It's so gamelan-like, and it's really really nice.
Excellent.
He made it popular. Thank you.
I didn't know that.
Thank you for putting us out there. Yeah.
Hey, time for the
so-
Asians.
yeah.
Enough white music.
And then for the other composers that I look up to, the first composer that I look up to, I mean not Western art, is John Williams. I love John Williams. If you ask your sister Inga how much I love John Williams, she knows.
Yeah, I hear this one a lot. Yes.
Yeah, I love John Williams. Like, I don't care how many people say he's old-fashioned. He only knows how to compose orchestral music. No, bro. At that time, when movies were stuck with synths and like synths and for sci-fi, right? Sci-fi movies especially, he's the one who like. Let's go back to
Is he
orchestral
the one
music.
that made Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars, Jurassic Park. I think as old-fashioned as you say as people say he is, like, he makes many of the most iconic and memorable melodies that you will never forget, and you will instantly know which movie those melodies belong to. So I love John Williams, and next I love Hans Zimmer. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, that one's a really good one. Yeah.
Remind me Hans Zimmer again.
Hans Zimmer, Interstellar.
Oh,
Interstellar, Pirates
Actually,
of the Caribbean, Sherlock Holmes.
he did Inception.
Yeah, Inception, Kung Fu Panda, yeah, and so much more. Yeah. Nah, I just really I look up to him. And then he says a lot of inspirational quotes that really stuck to me, like the one that if you see a rule, break them. I think that's correct, man. You couldn't, like, there's no better way to say it. Yeah, I think composers, that's it. But then I have, like, if you want to know from other people who are not composers, I have Jack Ma. I'm inspired by Jack Ma, man.
Okay.
I think that guy
Like
is
the
cool.
businessman.
Jack Ma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alibaba. Jack Ma.
I thought I was like, okay.
And Scorsese, Martin Scorsese,
Yeah.
Mel Gibson.
I heard they're short.
Are they?
Scorsese.
Oh, okay. Fun fact. And Scorsese, Rowan Atkinson,
That's pretty good.
and finally my mom. I'm so inspired by my mom.
Aww.
Yeah. Seriously, she's a really big supporter in my life. I don't know what I'm gonna do without her. Oh my gosh. Like, when I moved to Hong Kong, all my thought is like, I'm going to make horrible decisions because my mom's not here.
No lah.
Like, she really teaches me how to be a better person. Yeah, she went through a lot, and I think she's one of the wisest person ever. I'm not being biased, but seriously, she's so wise, bruh.
So sweet.
Anyways,
I
yeah.
think it's nice when kids are close with their parents.
Yeah,
I'm saying that like I have kids. I don't. I'm just saying I'm also close with my parents, so it's like it's pretty rare.
I think it's important, like, to have a family support, like, in whatever you do, whether it be your sister and all. It's really important to have family support.
Yeah, thank you for spitting music facts. Well, I know them, but I don't know that.
Be knowledgeable in music.
Yeah, you're like, sprinkle, here it is.
Thanks for exposing the music industry, Lauren.
Thank you for hearing another episode of Peak Boredom.
On that note, tune in next time.
Yeah, next week we have someone else that's super interesting. Woo!
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Hope you enjoy it.
Hello, hi. Thank you for listening to the Peak Boredom podcast. This is Martin Inga signing off, and don't forget to tune in next week. Please. Bye.